It's my usual 3 o'clock in the morning, and of course I can't sleep. So I got up and started thinking about this book that I was reading. I was reading this book called Robopocalypse. I think you can see it there. Yeah. Anyway, an interesting book, but yeah, I mean, I finished the whole thing, which is pretty unusual for me. Most of the times I get distracted in the middle of a book and can't finish it. But this one held my interest at the end. Still, I woke up having just a few thoughts that I wanted to share with you. And I will even read a few passages to you guys. And hopefully the author, Mr. Wilson, will not get mad at me for doing that, so I'm not breaking copyright or anything. I'm just reading short passages. Anyway, Robopocalypse, an interesting book. There's a second in the series. I heard this was going to be Steven Spielberg's next movie. That's the reason I thought it was interesting. But, I don't know, I almost didn't finish the book because, I just dropped the book. It's the robots, they're coming for me. Oh my god, okay. I almost didn't finish the book. It started off kind of slow, and I didn't really, let me clarify. I had a hard time buying into the premise originally because I didn't necessarily agree with it. Make sure I'm not dropping things. I don't know, for two reasons. One, I don't think artificial intelligence, which is the word I don't really like that word. Let's be a little more PC and call it machine intelligence. I don't think machine intelligence is going to, I don't think it's going to evolve that quickly. I mean, consider a couple of things. First of all, machine intelligence. It already exists. It's been around here for probably 3 or 4 decades. So it's not something new. Back in the, 80s, 90s? Maybe it was even the 70s, an IBM computer called Deep Blue defeated Garry Kasparov, the best chess player in the world. So a computer has already beat the best chess player in the world at playing chess. But would we consider that to be a sign of intelligence? Probably not. Most people would agree that it's not necessarily a sign of intelligence. It's a sign that 40,000 programmers at IBM can beat one chess player at IBM. And I don't think that's necessarily a sign of intelligence, except maybe a sign of human intelligence, that all the chess players, all the programmers at IBM are smarter than one chess player. So that's like 40,000 versus 1. Consider another example. Recently, just within the last 2 or 3 years, IBM's Watson defeated human players on the game of Jeopardy, right? It beat the best Jeopardy players in the world. So you think, wow, that's a sign of human intelligence, right? Not necessarily so. It's, first of all, the entire internet was downloaded to Watson's memory. So it had access to the cumulative knowledge of hundreds of millions, if not billions of people. That's what the internet is. So you could say that, well, yeah, it defeated 2 people, but it had access to the knowledge of billions of people to defeat those 2 people. And you might also go further and argue, well, if you'd given the other players access to the internet, they too might have done better. Because basically that's what Watson had. It had access to the internet, albeit downloaded. But still, those are not, in neither of those cases would we consider those to be machine intelligence. Those were people defeating people using a machine. So, anyway, machine intelligence has been around for a long time. And I don't necessarily think that, those are signs that machines are intelligent. Intelligence is a whole other thing. We don't even know what intelligence is. Turing believed that intelligence is you could talk to a machine and the machine would talk to you, and you would not know the difference between that and a human being. But a machine's always going to be a machine. You should always be able to tell the difference because a machine won't have the same experience as a human being. Anyway, computers, machines, artificial intelligence, another thing to think about is that they have to evolve. They're going to have to evolve, and they're going to have to evolve just like we evolved, and it's taken us millions of years to get to where we are, intelligence-wise, and life. Evolution is more than just, evolution is more than just knowing the capital of Rhode Island, in the case of IBM's Watson. It's surviving against the random assault of nature over a long period of time, and yet surviving physically and going on to learn new things mentally as well. So machine intelligence will have to do the same thing. It'll have to evolve. So I think machine intelligence is going to evolve a lot slower than most people think. It's not going to come quickly. I mean, it'll be a baby intelligence for a long time. It'll be a mouse-like intelligence. We'll have to put 50 little AIs in petri dishes and see which one does the best, and then take that one and put them in 50 more and see which one does the best, and so on and so forth. So it'll take a long time for it to evolve. It's not going to happen soon or quickly. The second problem I had with just the premise of the book, again, we're talking about Robopocalypse, is that I don't think necessarily robots and humans are going to be at odds. I don't see us fighting over things. People fight because they're going after the same resources, but I don't think a machine intelligence is going to. It's not going to need the same resources as we do. The only one I potentially see us getting maybe in an argument over is power. And I don't mean, abstract power. I mean like energy, electricity. They need that to survive, so do we. We need that to survive, so we might get in a battle over that. But, the other only thing that they really need is silicon for more memory, right? There's plenty of that. So I don't see us fighting over the same resources in the way that human beings have fought over oil and land and whatnot. And I don't necessarily think that, I don't think that this intelligence is going to want to kill us any more than we necessarily want to kill other intelligent species on the planet. We don't want to kill them. We sometimes need them for certain things, but once we realize we're stupidly pushing them to the point of extinction, we pull back, and we, like whales, we don't want to do it. Machine intelligence is also not going to want to kill us for the same reason it's going to want to keep us alive, which is our experience. And if anything, what I foresee as for machine-human intelligence, for machine intelligence, is that maybe it'll be like Mother. In fact, I can see us interacting with it like Mother, and saying, hey Mother, what's going on today? Should I do this? Should I do that? Mother might say, well, you should take the stairs instead of the elevator because you need to lose 5 pounds. Okay, Mother, all right, I'll try that. We won't necessarily listen. So I think it'll be a help. It'll be a benefit, but I don't necessarily think we'll be fighting machines anytime soon. I just don't see it. Anyway, we're at least being run down by smart cars, as the premise in this book goes. I thought that was pretty sad, but hilarious that, people were being run down by smart cars, and that's one of the ways that machines kill people. But anyway, conflict. It's got plenty of that, and it should make for a good movie, I imagine, because that's all you need for a movie is just conflict between two groups, and it's got plenty of that. So let me read a few passages. Other than that, I did like the book. One other quick statement that bothered me about the book is it had some structural anomalies that bothered me just a little bit. Sorry, Mr. Wilson, I did like the book. Let me say that. But structurally, it had some issues that just bothered me a little bit. For example, the whole thing is taking place retroactively after the war's already ended, right? The war ends at the beginning of the book, and then they go on from there. But the whole book is written in present tense, which bothers me a little bit. If the war's over, it should be written in past tense, so that bothered me. I'm currently writing a story which is in present tense, and hopefully that won't bother people. It's a history story, but it's a first-person perspective told by a young kid who was there at the time. So kids, I think, would tend to write in first person. Anyway, it feels natural, so that's why I'm doing it. But this book doesn't feel natural in present tense. It feels odd. It feels like it's written. It's a screenplay. And it probably should have all been in past tense, third person past tense, like most novels. So that bothered me a little bit structurally, and but I got into the language. I got into the dialogue. I think it's well written. It was all written strangely in first person, which was odd too. I mean, it tries to, and that's usually a sign, like me, I'm writing in first person, of an immature writer, a writer who has not yet matured, who can pull himself out of himself enough to write third person. That's what I feel about my own writing. That's why I'm writing in first person. It's more comfortable. It's easier for me. Strangely, I used to not be able to read stories that were in first person. I remember trying to read a book a while ago in first person, and I couldn't do it because it doesn't allow me to imagine that the character is another person. I don't know, maybe my ego gets in the way and I can't push it aside to think that the I in the story is not me, it's somebody else. So that was, anyway, a little technical glitch that slowed me down, but let me read a few little pages of Robopocalypse. This is a whisper reading of Robopocalypse. Mr. Wilson, I don't think you'll be upset because this is not an audiobook by any stretch. And I'm just picking a few selections to share with folks. And I hope I can read this. I might need a little more light. Hang on. And if this flares out the screen, I apologize. But here we go. Oh, early on in the book, I thought this passage was kind of funny. Tell me what this reminds you of, and see if we have the same thought when you hear it. The long and short of it is that Jack Williams isn't around anymore because he went to dance with Big Rob himself. Jack got invited and he went, and that's all there is to say about that for now. Jack is the narrator's brother, and not to give too much in the story away, well, I won't. Anyway, but I mean, it gives it away itself right here. Narrator's brother obviously dies in the war, but that line, I kind of cracked up when I read that line. And that's all there is to say about that. Reminded me a little bit of Forrest Gump. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Do you remember that line? Anyway, I kind of chuckled when I read that one. So let's jump to a little later in the book and I'll read another passage. Make sure I'm finding the right place. There we go. Sorry if I'm shuffling papers. It's hard to do all this with one hand. By the way, the camera setup was not easy tonight. I almost made myself mad. I had to attach a little light to the camera so that I could do a little better night vision reading tonight. Okay. Here you go. This is page, I don't even know what page it is. We're between chapters, so it doesn't have page numbers. Where are we? 193, 4, 5. Okay, this is page 195 to 196. This is just one paragraph from the story. And I like this one. And I've got other things that are getting in the way here. Okay, you ready? Forgive me if this light's in the way. I probably shouldn't have this. I'm just trying to read. Is that? No, that's not too bad for you. Okay, cool. This is a little LED light, by the way. Hey, look at that. We're getting some color. That's pretty cool. Okay, ready? Page 195. The cities and towns are in chaos. We go out of our way, but it's impossible to avoid them all. Cars are running people down, traveling in packs. I watch people fire guns from buildings at marauding vehicles. Sometimes the cars are empty. Sometimes there are people inside. I watch a driverless garbage truck pull up to a steel trash can. Sorry. bodies tumble out in a limp-limbed waterfall. Great description. I like that one. That one's good. Reminded me a little bit of Soylent Green. Do you guys remember that movie? Let's see if I can do this without losing my page again. Here we go. Sorry, this is so clumsy. Of course, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing this in the middle of the night, and I am my own everything here, gaffer, trying to hold everything. Okay, here we go. Page 198. Another little passage that I liked. I feel a shove between my shoulder blades and fall forward, cheek on the cold, gritty pavement. Two black combat boots appear in my field of view. Hands roughly jab through my pockets. Checking for weapons, the spotlight illuminates the pavement before my face in lunar detail. Shadows racing through craters. I notice that my cheek is resting in a discolored splotch of oil. The little splotch of oil turns out not to be oil. Later on, when he realizes that the people at the army base have been gunning down citizens. Alright, I like the lunar detail there, though. That's pretty cool. Okay, one more passage and then we're done. I'm going back to sleep, man. At least I hope I can. Alright, insomnia, keep me awake. Alright, one last little patch. One last little stretch here. Where are we here? Page 305. Sorry, I keep looking off. I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping everything in frame. Bonk. Okay. Page 305. Where are we? Okay, that's not the page I was looking for. God, I need another hand. Alright. Can't flip the pages because I got too much in here. Okay, this is the section. Just wanted to double check. Okay, here we go. Yep. Page 305. I did have the right page. Then, this is during the battle. Then, the scorpion-like machine grinds into motion. Its dexterous claws knead, ties stubbled throat and jaw, massaging, coiling, uncoiling. A grotesque calliope begins as the barbed feet force air from his lungs through his vocal cords and out of his mouth. The corpse speaks. "Turn back," it says, face twisting grotesquely, "or die." Yeah. Anyway, the machine is creating little machines that grab hold of people, and that's how it talks to people sometimes. The artificial intelligence, which is known as Argos, has these little scorpion things that grab onto inanimate corpses, and that's how it talks to people. That's pretty clever, interesting. Gross, but interesting. I don't know how Steven Spielberg's going to make this PG-13. It's going to cost a fortune to make this movie, of course, just with digital effects. And it's going to be R-rated. It's going to be... if you make it like it should be R-rated. It's pretty gross and disgusting a lot of the times. It reminds me of the movie on the... God, what was that? A movie on a ship where some alien lands and tries to take over inanimate corpses and turn it into a machine like itself. I think it was called The Virus or something with Jamie Lee Curtis. Anyway, you guys have probably seen that movie, but that's a little bit what the later book here reminds me of. It's gonna be gross stuff. The book is, the book is brutal. I don't know how you're gonna do it justice with a PG-13 rating unless you focus on the pleasanter things like machines gouging out little girls' eyes and replacing them with some kind of machine-like appendage so that they can see in infrared. That should be a Steven Spielberg moment, right? Okay, that's it, guys. Enough for tonight. Sorry I didn't keep this short. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. that's the thing that keeps me up the most. It's just things that won't leave me alone. That's my little review and reading of Robopocalypse. I hope you enjoyed it. What else? I'm probably going to get the sequel too, if I can find it at the library tomorrow. By the time I wake up, maybe in the middle of the day. I think it's called Robogenesis. Yeah, doesn't sound like the big artificial intelligence died. Or else there's more to the Robo War to come. Alright, night guys. See ya later.